Hello and welcome to the Factly Digest. I'm Parvati Mohan and I lead the audio visual production efforts here at Factly. And this is technically the 18th edition of the Factly Digest, which is a series of lives, fortnightly lives that we do from our studio in house. And we talk about, the exciting work that has happened over the past 2 weeks from different teams that work at Factly. But we're going to be doing things a little differently this time because this is our annual wrap up of sorts where we are talking to two teams from Factly and they will tell us about all the wonderful work that they've done over this year that has been 2023. And before we get into the team wise updates, I would like to quickly take you through a few of the highlights that we have had as as a company, the some of the highs that we've hit um, this year. One of those being, of course, that here on YouTube, we have hit the milestone of 100,000 subscribers, and we did receive the much coveted silver play button. And we're very happy about it. Thank you to all our subscribers. And if you aren't one already, do join. And apart from YouTube, even on Instagram, we crossed the mark of 100,000 followers. And in fact, we had a reel that has crossed 1.5 million views, and we couldn't be happier. But of course, we look forward to maintaining this performance, and we hope to just get better and better. And in terms of product updates, because we do have a tech wing here at Factly, our product Dataful was launched and subscribers have been coming in. And Dataful is, of course, a portal where you can access cleaned data sets from across many fields, and very useful to researchers, journalists, students, anyone who works with public data, really. And the other product is Tagore AI, which is an artificial intelligence tool that can help you with content creation, very many kinds of media that it covers. And this was actually demoed at the 3PFC day held by Meta, and also at the Trusted Media Summit in Singapore. And in both the places, we are very happy to report that it was received very well. And we look forward to the kind of engagement that we can expect on a platform like this. And um, and then, yes, two grants that we won this year also. One is the Empowering the Truth grant, uh, by the ICFJ, which is the International Center for Journalists. We were one of 18 recipients across the globe. And we also won a Google grant for our portal Such, which will enable us to work with publishers and fact checkers to improve the claim review database. So we are very excited here about all these updates, and we look forward to getting better and better at everything that we do in 2024. That said, with all of that out of the way, also, quick note, you can leave your questions and comments in the live chat to the side of your screen, and we will try to take them through the course of this live. All right. So we'll begin with the fact check team, and joining me is Harsha Vardhan. Hi, Harsha.
Hi, Pavitra. Parvati.
Yeah. And yeah, so getting straight into, your annual highlights. Uh, like every year, 2023 was a very eventful year. And we know this, and we've said this before, and we'll say it again because it's true. When there is something that happens in the news, usually, and especially when it's a big event, sensational or, important in whatever way, fake news or misinformation, disinformation will follow. So keeping that in mind, with the kind of eventful year that this has been, what are the kind of what is the kind of work that you did? What kind of stories did you debunk? Like, sort of your basically your annual highlights for your team.
So, 2023 has been the most diverse year for us, both as fact checkers and even for the audience as well,
Mm-hmm.
because we have so many different diverse trends across politics, sports, communal, war like wars, etc. And and there are basically two types of trends we observe. One is short term trend, other one is long term trend. Short term trend is like events related to sports like World Cup,
Mm.
because misinformation is only targeted during that period of the World Cup, like that. And there are some long term yearly. overall throughout the year there are trends like age unrelated content scams
Mm,
like that.
mm,
So we broadly categorize these trends into 10 types. So we will discuss that now. The first and most important one is the elections,
mm.
misinformation related to elections.
Yeah.
As you know, there are as many as nine states went to elections this year,
Yeah.
starting from Tripura went in February, and the
Mm.
latest one is Telangana
Yeah.
in December. First week we got results. So in the elections, what we observe is before the elections, misinformation is related to this campaigning, like sharing clipped videos, audios, out of context videos, false promises, fake manifestos, etc. And during the polling, we have misinformation related to EVMs,
Mm,
polling at the polling booths, some violence at the polling booths like that. And after the elections, fake news is related to the
mm,
counting of the elections,
mm.
the winner, the margin, and the party candidates who change their party of the elections like that.
Yeah.
So this is common. This for every elections we observe this. But in this in 2023 for Karnataka election, we particularly observed a peculiar trend. After the Congress won the Karnataka, we see some form of communal misinformation
Mm.
shared in this context. This Congress party is favoring some minority community in
Yeah.
the Karnataka. So we got some many fake posts like that. We debunked as earlier as possible. So that's related to election misinformation. And next one is Manipur violence. So as
Yeah.
you know that this unprecedented violence in Manipur
Mm,
has caught the attention of the world, and we have seen many videos and news articles related to it. So actually, there was some violence in Manipur among some groups
mm.
as well in past as well. But the violence that started in May 2023 has taken some very kind of a violent form.
And I think it got a lot of national media attention as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah, it got attention, and so there are videos like old videos and unrelated videos, like from other parts of the
Yeah.
country are linked to the
Yeah.
Manipur, and even from videos from violent videos from neighboring country
Yeah.
Myanmar also
Yeah.
linked to Manipur violence. So this kind of amplify the actual what's actual on
Yeah.
the ground level, and make it seem like a bigger thing in social media like that.
Mm.
So for such type of communal misinformation, we debunk as many as possible because these kind of videos or audios, whatever, has a real impact on the ground. As you can see, some unfortunate incident happening as well due to sharing of misinformation. So and next one is Israel Hamas war. So as soon as the Hamas attacked Israel on October first week,
Mm.
we started getting so much of misinformation.
Yeah.
So and first it came as visuals of
Mm.
attacks, and then and then we got the videos of injured died, and then there are claims like Israel is faking injuries,
Yeah.
deaths,
Yeah.
and Palestinians are
Yeah.
faking deaths, injuries. So debunked on both sides because both sides are sharing misinformation. And similarly, we got this type of war misinformation last year also in
With Russia
Russia
and Ukraine,
Ukraine
yes.
war. But this time it is different because here communal angle also involved in
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so it also spread to other countries as well. In India, we debunked many claims
Yeah.
in India also related to Israel Hamas war. So and next one is natural disasters and technical
Mm.
disasters. Natural disasters like cyclones. We have witnessed two cyclones, major cyclones this year, like Biparjoy and Migjam
Mm.
recently. So usually in such during such periods, people tend to share previous world videos and related videos from other countries as recent ones. Mostly they share out of desperation or ignorance.
Mm.
And during we have seen some technical disasters this year, like Nepal plane crash and Odisha train accident,
Yeah.
Andhra train accident. Particularly in Odisha train accident issue,
Yeah. Yeah.
we have seen a lot of misinformation. Mostly, this accident was used to spread political
Again,
propaganda,
communal
communal
hatred. Yeah.
hatred as well, and we debunked it effectively.
Yeah.
And next one is Chandrayaan 3. Chandrayaan 3 is not a regular event because it does not happen every year. It's kind of event. So even in Chandrayaan 3, right from the launch of the rocket to the moon, and
Mm.
after the landing module, we tend to get various kinds of misinformation, like pictures from some people shared pictures of Mars as the pictures of the moon
Yeah.
sent by the Chandrayaan 3, like that. Mostly, this is new for the people as well, because in order to verify this, you need to go to official website of ISRO, official website of NASA. So most people, it's kind of new for us as well. So
Mm.
we learned many things related to it. So and next one is sports events like ICC Men's World Cup and Asian Games. Uh, Similarly, in this these kinds of events give misinformation related to players. Like some player has done this, some player done that, some player won the medal in the Asian Games, like that as well. There is some political and communal touch in sporting misinformation as well. And next one is G20. You know, India first time hosted the G20 summit.
Mm.
So there are misinformation about these leaders who came to India
Mm.
and the places they visit, like that. And the next one is and most important one is AI generated content.
Yeah.
Yeah, because uh, it is not only belongs to one category, because it is evident in it is
Yeah.
in all categories. Like in political, you can use AI generated images,
Yeah.
text. In communal, you can use it, and in sports, you can use it.
Even with rubbish claims,
Yeah,
as we've seen. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There are some hilarious claims as well.
Yeah.
So, with the advancement of the technology and relatively easy access to the AI tools, more and more people are spreading misinformation.
Yeah.
And because since it's getting near to perfection, it's kind of hard for
Yeah.
general audience
Yeah.
to detect which one is AI and which one is
Yeah.
not. So there are a few tools and techniques to identify the images, and we have already explained it in the
Yes.
previous live session as well. So, and the next one is scams. With the penetration of the internet
Mm.
throughout the India, even in rural areas,
Mm.
scammers are taking advantage of these people who are not
Yeah.
digitally li- who have not digital literature, like that. So there are scams like crypto scam, investment scam, and recharge scam. Recharge scam is like Modi is giving recharge for every Indian if
Yeah.
you scan this. Uh, and this Natas pencil scam. It has been going on for ages.
Yeah.
Uh, like you get money just by packing pencils, like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And QR code scams, scratch card scams, like that. As there is a new kind of scams coming every year.
Laila Rao investment
Like lot of investment.
scheme. Yeah.
Like if you invest, you will get multiple, double or
Yeah.
triple money
In
within.
just 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. And the final one is Ayodhya Ram Mandir. Recently, we have been getting lots of claims related to Ayodhya Ram Mandir, which will be inaugurated in January 2022. So, and we are also debunking it as well. Yeah.
2024. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of 2024, it also has a lot of potential for the creation and spread of fake news. So, what would you like to tell our viewers, as a word of caution as we step into the new year?
In 2024, there are some uh, pre-planned events like general elections
Yeah.
and some state elections like Andhra, Orissa, like that. Uh, so we are anticipating misinformation regarding these events as well, and we are planning because we got some experience this year while
Yeah.
debunking the state assembly election misinformation and the Ram Mandir election. There will be much more surge in misinformation regarding Ram Mandir,
Yeah.
and also COVID. With the rise of cases now, we
Mm.
are anticipating some misinformation as well
Yeah.
in the next year related to COVID, and most importantly, AI generated content. Because this is very rampant AI generated, because the advancement of technology, anyone can do
Yeah.
misinformation and throw it on the social media, like that.
Yeah.
So we are preparing. Actually, we are trying several tools to debunk AI misinformation as well.
Yeah.
And even today, we tried AI tool which tells us where the picture was taken,
Mm.
like geolocation identifier app, like that. So for the viewers, since it is getting very difficult for to track and identify misinformation with the advancement of technology, users should always go for the official sources,
Mm.
like official websites, like that. And even in some cases, we cannot trust media also blindly, because in 2023 also we have debunked so many claims that media reported it as true.
Yeah.
So earlier we used to say that every take every kind of information with a pinch of salt. Now we should say that we should take information on internet with some ton of salt like that,
Yeah,
because misinformation is going rampant. But users can do some easy tricks like reverse image search
yeah.
and going to sources like that,
Hmm.
and they can debunk it by themselves.
Yeah.
So, but if it is difficult for anyone, you can always contact faculty through our WhatsApp tip line.
Yeah. And before you go, Harsha, very quickly, we have a question, but I'm not sure we are the right people to answer this. But anyway, Manu John has asked, is there a way to fact check whether the votes are being counted correctly or not? Example, if I vote for person A, what is the guarantee that my vote is not getting counted to person B?
Because you can see on VVPAT as soon as
Yeah.
you voted on
Yeah.
EVM, you can get it on the VVPAT, the election symbol and the
Yeah.
candidate you voted for. So in the through this process, you can check if your vote goes to your selected candidate or not.
And beyond that, if we are talking about behind the scenes, that is veering too close into conspiracy theory category. So I think we are definitely not qualified to get into that. But thank you for your question, Manujan. And I think with that, we are done with the fact check team's update. Thank you for joining, Harsha. We will move on to the newsroom in just a bit. But before that, quick reminder once again, I just like to reiterate actually what Harsha said, that please use our WhatsApp tip line judiciously. It is a very useful resource you can use to, really on the go find out if a piece of information you've received is real or fake. And in the rare case that, we may not have a fact check already to debunk what is the claim that you've sent, it works as a source of information for our fact check team to work on and really investigate the claim and get back to you with the relevant fact check. And all right, that said, we will now move to the next team, which is the newsroom. And joining me is Pavitra. Hi, Pavitra. So, yeah, I mean, we were talking about things that were in the news with the fact check team. And now your team, the newsroom, which for those of you joining us for the first time, they write detailed articles on factly.in, which you should definitely check out um, after this live is done, and other things too, but we'll get to that. Yeah, so your work is both, you do talk about things that are in the news in terms of, you probe the data angle of of any issue that's in the news, like, World Cup or, whatever maybe. Uh, and but also things that are not timely exactly, like, but keeping data at the crux of what you do. So so yeah, so in this context, so what has been the um most I would really just say, what have been your annual highlights for your team?
Okay, so in 2023, we wrote over close to like 250 articles,
Mm,
including data stories, explainers, and also reviews. So, again, about data stories, I mean, just like in the case of the fact check team, like we try to cover like whatever is relevant at that time.
mm,
Like, but at the same time, we add like some data backed insights to
yeah.
it, that others don't usually cover.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, last year I mean, this year we had the women representation in the parliament, like the 33% reservation, which was widely discussed.
Yeah.
So what we did was we analyzed like the trends in women representation in parliaments, in both the state government and the central governments.
Mm-hmm.
We analyzed how many like women candidates like actually were selected for various portfolios and stuff,
Mm,
and also the share of women who contested in the elections.
yeah.
So that was another uh, aspect that we covered that many others didn't cover. Then, we have actually covered I mean, yeah. Apart from this, like we've covered a wide range of topics. Be it say coastal erosion, the World Heritage Sites list, and the Republic Day tableau. We've covered like a wide range of topics. And uh, again, coming back to like the relevant topics that we covered, then there was this withdrawal of 2000 rupee notes in September.
Yeah.
So we did an analysis of how this would impact the digital transactions in the country. Then again, like then the Manipur violence. So on that backdrop, we analyzed the trends in the northeast. Violence is reported. Then the impact of, I mean, the Russia-Ukraine trade. Like so, we I mean, the Russia-Ukraine war. On that backdrop, we analyzed the India's trade with
Yeah.
Russia. Then I mean, some other topics like the population trends in India, like in the backdrop, like India became the world's most
Yes.
populous country in 23. Then again, how candidates who have like similar names, how that affects the election results. Then air quality index, like every year around Diwali time, that becomes a topic with Delhi's air pollution levels just touching heights. And yeah, so such topics like we covered. And apart from this, we like again, like the fact check team, there were like these major sporting events in 2023, like the Asian Games and Cricket World Cup. So again, we did the trends, like of how the performance of different countries have been, again, since the inception of these games. Then again, in 2023 was the International Year of Millets. So we wrote an explainer about millets. And we also analyzed the trends in production of millets against other food grains, and also its procurement. Then we also try to cover, certain topics that others usually don't talk about. For instance, we wrote an article on the popular routes under the Udan scheme of the government, and the funds allocated to different airlines under it. So again, for this, we got the data through an RTI response. Then we also wrote a series of stories on social media compliance, like the different grievances that are received by these SSMIs, like say WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Meta. Sorry. And like for this, we again took data from the monthly compliance reports that these SSMIs publish, and we wrote the story. Then we wrote about electoral bonds, assurances, demands for grants, and vehicles that are older than 15 years, which was based on a parliament response. So basically, like we go through like different sources of data to write these stories, and all this can be accessed on Dataful from where we collate. So yeah, that's more or less about our data stories.
Yeah. And a lot of this work, of course, as I mentioned earlier, they are long form articles on factly.in, and also in short form content on our social media platforms, where we are at Factly India across platforms. So definitely follow us on these platforms, and it's really useful, informative content coming at you every single day. So do not miss out. And yeah, so in addition to all the data stories that you spoke about just now, you also carried on with your periodic work.
Yeah.
So share a few words about that, especially for our first time viewers.
Okay. So we have our weekly court judgments, review of court judgments, wherein like we cover the important judgments passed by the Supreme Court and the High Court. Then we have our fortnightly government data roundup, where we speak about, where we write about like the different reports, data sources that the government publishes. Then we have our like when the parliament session is ongoing, like we write every week the important developments that took place, like say important questions raised, or key issues discussed. Then some standing committee reports that were presented, and also the bills passed in the parliament in that particular week. Then we also write reviews of all these publications at the national and international level. Like say for instance, we had we wrote a review of the financial stability report published by RBI, then that of the parliament standing committees report, like say for example the glacier management. Then the World Bank's World Development Report, then the State of Births report that is published by certain private institutions along with the Indian government. Then we also write explainers, like just like in the case of data stories, where we try to cover whatever is
Hmm.
relevant and the current based on the situation. We wrote, say, when the same-sex marriages was under discussion, like when
Hmm.
it was raised in the Supreme Court, we wrote like a story on like how, I mean, the legal benefits of marriages,
Marriage, yeah.
the privileges. Then we wrote stories on the sudden deaths due to cardiac arrest among youth, like when during Navratri season when several cases were reported in Gujarat. Then we also had stories like the railway compensation scheme. We explained it in the backdrop of again the Odisha incident. Then so apart from these, we also, I mean, in news you come across like all these various indicators like financial inflation related price indicators. So it's like people come across it, but you don't know what exactly it means. So we have
Hmm.
explained all that in simple terms, broken it down such that everyone can understand what it actually
Yeah.
means and implies. So these are like some stories other than the data ones that we write. So apart from this, for people who wish to just get a glimpse of the trends, or the major observations of each story, but
Yeah.
those who don't have the patience to like read through the entire story, we also convert these long form articles to visual, into the visual format, like
Yeah.
for especially for social media users.
Yeah.
So we have our data byte. So we so basically, like in that, we put all the story in like a visual format, such that you just swipe through it and you just
Yeah.
understand what the story tries to convey. Again, if you want to go get to know more about the story in detail, like say the methodology,
Hmm.
or like some why is it so and such things, like you will have to go back and read.
Right.
Anyone like who wants to can go back to the website
Yeah.
and read the story. Yeah, so this is pretty much like what we write. And yeah, so basically, like what we try to do is, I mean, there's a lot of government data out there, there's a lot of
Yeah.
public data out there. Then there are like a lot of court judgments, like
Yeah.
every week there are several judgments passed by high courts and Supreme Court. So what happens is, like, people need not be aware of all this.
Yes.
So what we try to do with our work is to ensure, like, like, and whatever is available, like, if some people, I mean, for people, like, they need not understand what is there. This data and all is often
Yeah.
complex,
Yeah.
and it's pretty difficult also. It's like scattered, and
Yeah.
it's difficult to understand.
Yeah.
So we put all this in such a manner that people get aware of what is happening, they can access this easily,
Yes.
and they can also understand like what's happening, like in the governments,
Yeah.
or like what their legal rights are, such
Yeah.
things. So that is
Yeah.
our main objective.
Yeah. And it is all data and things that have a direct impact on our lives,
Exactly, yeah.
especially those of us who live in India and are Indian. Um, okay, all right. With that, we've come to the end of this session, and uh, we hope you also found it useful, informative, of the kind of work that we do. And very quickly, follow us on social media platforms. Just today, there's a very important story that has come out. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Go to @Factly India, see what it is, like it, comment on it, and follow us. Subscribe to us on YouTube. All of that. And yes, YouTube memberships are live. Do consider joining. Reach out to us through comments on our videos, posts, DMs, all of that. We are very responsive. We will look into it. And yeah, until the next edition, then. Which should be on the 11th of January 2024 and around the same time, 6 p.m. IST. We look forward to connecting with you then, but also through the work that we do every single day. Thank you for joining us today and wish you a happy and truthful new year.